Well, hello everybody. This is Echoes of War. I'm joined here by my co-host Gaurav. How are you?
Hey Greg, wonderful to be here for another Echoes of War podcast, and let's continue down with our mini series.
For those who don't know, this is actually part three in a mini series covering the Malayan campaign of World War II. You don't necessarily have to watch previous episodes, but I think it certainly would help. But before we jump into it, I just want to say if you'd like to further support the channel, please check out our YouTube membership or our Patreon account at www.patreon.com/the Pacific War Channel, where you can get access to the exclusive podcast series, early access to all the content I make, and voting rights for the subjects I will tackle next. And the latest episode behind that paywall is actually the first episode in a multi-part series, which is a alternate history of the Pacific War. The first episode is titled The Great Naval Battle of Pearl Harbor. So if that's of interest to you, man, please go check it out. But stating all of that, I think we're jumping back into Malaya. And for those who aren't watching on YouTube, unfortunately, you're not going to get all the visuals. So I'm going to be tossing up a good old map of Malaya, excuse me. And we are about at this middle point. Actually, can you see the cursor, Gareth?
Can you just move it again? Yeah, now it's
Okay.
visible. It was kind of like intermittent a bit, but now it's there.
Yeah. So we're about this area right now. But obviously, I'm going to do a little bit of a summary of where we're at because it would be kind of ludicrous not to. So, to go all the way back, in December of 1941, Japan invaded British Malaya, aiming to cripple Allied power. Despite British defenses, General Yamashita, with his battle-hardened 25th Army, overwhelmed them quite easily. The British fumbled early, failing to strike Japanese beachheads, while the sinking of Fourth Sea left Malaya without any naval protection. At Jitra, the absence of tanks proved devastating for the Indian defenders. Yamashita employed blitzkrieg tactics, like using tanks and bicycles, to exploit the terrain. The British were spread very thin, they were under-resourced, and they were forced to retreat south, facing constant attacks and encirclements. The evacuation of Penang further demoralized the Allies, while locals turned against their colonial rulers. Despite acts of heroism, such as at Kempar, the Japanese advanced relentlessly. The defenders prepared a new line of defense at Trolak, about 5 miles north of Slim River. Reinforcements were arriving, such as the 45th Brigade, to repel the enemy's advance on Kuala Selangar. So if we look here at the map, you can see Kuala Kangsar, which is a different pronunciation of it, by the way. Tulak, Kampar, Slim River. This is about where we're going to be at today. Now, to catch up, General Paris is in control. And I know, Gaurav, you had said a little bit about Paris in the last episode, but perhaps you could just say a little bit more today.
So Paris is the exception of local level commanders in the campaign for the British forces, that he was one of the very few who trained his men and inspired them to fight. They were not panicking. So initially, when the 11th Indian Infantry Division was, like retreating because General Murray-Leon was kind of in a panic. The 12th Brigade of at that time Brigadier Archibald Paris was sent to provide rearguard protection for the retreating division. And they actually fought with such ferocity that the Japs were actually stunned, and their advance guards actually took quite a beating with quite high losses. And this was the example of what the British could actually have done even very early in the war if they just got away from the British army culture. I'll go a bit into the details when we talk about another officer,
I can think of who you're
but
talking about, yeah.
that was the reason the Japanese at least had some time to the 11th Indian Infantry Division had time to recover around the Slim River is thanks to the defense provided by Brigadier Paris. And when Murray-Leon gets sacked quite early in the campaign, which was anyways is pretty much his last job in the army, for a while, Paris will now be in command of the division, but he will soon have to relinquish command to Major General Billy. key as and would revert back to commanding the 12th Brigade.
All right. And let me bring back up my beautiful map. Just put it over here. So that catches us up with the establishment of General Paris and how he's doing, as he's forming a new defensive line at the Slim River, approximately 50 miles north of Kuala Lumpur. The Slim River originated beyond Fraser's Hill and it flows westwards to an estuary at Minangtang. It presents a significant anti-tank obstacle due to its consistent width of at least 200 yards, which is going to be key in this, as Yamash's proved he's quite armor heavy.